everyone, I'm Holly, and today I'm going to make, hopefully, a fun batch of soap. I'm going to use a mixture of buttermilk and cream, and the fragrance I'm using it's kind of a babyish fragrance, but I'm not going to go with that really at all. It's a mix of citrus and some peaches. I pick up some honey and some almonds, but it does not say that that's in the description at all. It's kind of powdery as well. And so the first thing I'm going to do is add in the buttermilk and cream mixture. I'm really on a roll with the creamy milks. It's just, I don't know, it's what I'm inspired to do right now. I do get several questions. Why do you only use coconut milk? Well, I try to make my soaps vegan a lot of the times, but I was inspired for right now to do some of these animal milk soaps. I used to only soap with like cream or maybe goat milk, and so it's kind of what I'm known for back in the day, what I was known for back in the day. I am going to use my Mahusive stick blender, even though I don't quite need it in a batch this big, but I seem to need to buy some new stick blenders. So I'm going to tap out the air bubbles. And now I'm going to put in the lye solution. Has a little bit of lye lint on it, not too bad for today. Was actually able to get my studio warmed up. I came up here, it's in my attic, and so not the best insulated getup. It was 44 degrees when I came up here. We had a super cold night, and then I have managed to get it heated up to 64 degrees. So 20 degrees in a whole day is not too bad. I'm actually pretty warm with my my sleeves and all that. All right, I'm going to bring this to an emulsification. Now I notice there's some vibration between the stainless steel and the pot, and then the stainless steel again, so I apologize for that, but there's some things I can't avoid. I think this stick blender just needs the assistance of the stirring. It's just the way it goes with this one. I do soap at room temperature, and since room temperature is so cold right now, I need to double check and make sure that I'm not getting a false trace at all. Because the oils, I'm using a mixture of olive, coconut, castor, and cocoa butter. And aside from the castor oil, they all like to solidify. It's been so cold that I have had buckets of olive oil. Kind of, it gets almost like a graininess. It does start to solidify. It's not often that it gets that cold here in Missouri and upstairs, so I don't usually have to worry about it too many days out of the year. It's looking very good. Alright, so this is the part I'm a little bit nervous about because I want to do some fun things, but let me think this through. I could actually divvy this off just a little bit. I don't really want to go to the effort of that. Thinking. Well, the review says there's no acceleration or discoloration, so I'm just gonna go for it. We'll just pour it straight if we have to. But I do have a fun, I hope, design idea. I felt like this was a strong enough fragrance. I did reduce it just a little bit. I am going to be stick blending this again. So I guess we'll just give it a little bit, just a tiny bit. I'm going to attempt to pour this out. Go high. And I'm only going to pour it about to the bottom of the spout. Maybe a hint higher, just so that we have a little bit more color. I thought about using some titanium dioxide in the base color, but I decided against it. So I'm going to use just a little bit of a blue and a pink. For this one, this is Aphrodite from Mad Micas. And it's just a kind of just a pretty lighter blue color. And so, you know, I'm kind of going with baby colors, although if I was doing baby colors, I would have added yellow and green for sure. I don't know about you, but I always did, I tended to do yellow and green with my babies. But anyway, just gonna do the blue and the pink. Just thought it would be really pretty. I've been in the mood to make a yellow and pink, not yellow, pink and blue. Pink and blue. I just had it in mind to do a kind of a pink and blue. This one was a mixture of Mad Micas Voodoo with Nurture Soap's Flower Girl. I wanted to use the amaranth pink. Is that how you say that word? Amaranth pink from Nurture Soap, but apparently I don't have any. So I also mixed in a little bit of Snow White from Mad Micas. This is going really well. And so into this blue to give it a stir up. It's beautiful. Has a hint of a teal-like color. It's not straight up blue. It's very beautiful nonetheless. If I wanted more of just like a baby blue, I probably would have been best just with a little ultramarine blue and some titanium dioxide, but this Aphrodite was so pretty that I really wanted to try it. So we are not even at a trace here at this point. Maybe. A lot of it's just the mica making it look like there's a trace. So I am going to give all these just a little bit more of a blend. Oh, aren't they beautiful together? Look at that. I love it. I think I'm just gonna hold here for a moment and see if this will thicken up on its own at all. I want to pour it while it's still fairly thin, but not so thin that it just seeps out the edges of my freezer paper. These have thickened up quite a bit. It's only been a few minutes. So what I'm gonna do is pour a little bit of this blue in, like so. And I'm gonna pour a little of the pink in. And I do want it to mix a little if it so chooses to do. Oh, that looks nice. All right. So if you know me, you probably know I'm going for an in the pot swirl next. So I thought I would do something a little different. Instead of, I would normally pour like one here and one here. I'm going to pour them kind of together. And if they would like to go ahead and blend a little bit, I think that would be cool. All right, this definitely has a powderiness to it. I do really like it. Let's see, I want to save a little bit for the top, but I don't need a whole bunch. All right, so now I'm just going to pour it. Doesn't that look cool? I love that. All right, let's see how this is gonna go. Isn't that beautiful? Looks like it's gonna be super blendy. So nice. I wish I would get more of a purple, but they do seem to kind of hang out on their own. Oh, that's beautiful. I've done similar things before. Let's see. I can't even remember the name. I know the fragrance was like a, oh darn, can't think of it. Beautiful something or other. And I've been asked to bring it back, but I just haven't been able to find a fragrance that I find suitable. Again, the original one is not available. And so I think I called them like Cotton Candy Skies maybe or something. Anyway, it's like a Beautiful Day dupe possibly. I just don't remember anymore. Anyway, I was gonna try to do that, but I have not really had the opportunity to find that slash work with it. So this is kind of like that. And then what did I do? I think I did a pink and blue for a peach one once. Wait, I feel like my memory is failing. It's a good thing I take good notes because I wouldn't remember anything from 1 minute to the next. Starting to get a little thicker now, but it's still been playing very nice. Of course, I'm soaping super cool. I'm excited with how this is going. That side does not want to stay. It does not. And now for the blue. I did have a little different design in mind, but I mixed up too much of the colors after all, and it's stayed rather thin and all the things. But I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I am going to let this set for just a little bit and kind of solidify a bit more, and then I'm going to texture the top. I'm just going to use a little iced teaspoon here just to give it a little bit of texture. I totally feel like I've made this soap before, not the scent, the style. Oh, I love it. So fun. I used to have like a classic top that I would do, but I don't work with those loaf molds anymore, and it's not quite as precise in these big slabs, so I don't really do it that much anymore. But I used to, you know, I don't want to dip this all over, but I used to go the doop 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 all the way this way and doop 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 that way, and then doop doop doop. Sound effects. I used to love making my tops like that, but this is close without having all the lines. So pretty. Oops, missed a spot. Alright, that looks really good. You probably see something that I don't see. I feel like we just need a little bit extra texture right through there. Okay, so here we have the, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to name it, soap. I will see you back here for the cut. Okay, so here we are to cut this pretty pink and bluish soap. I love how it's just so just light and muted. I don't dare say pastel because I always get in trouble for that in some form. So pastel, that's a naughty word for me. It's on the naughty list. And it just turned out so pretty. I love how the scent turned out. It's also just very, it's not a light scent by any means, but it's soft. I mean, I feel like I'm describing all of my soaps right now. Scents is soft, but I just mean just smooth and not sharp fragrances. Just really pretty. And I have no idea what I'm going to call this at the time that I'm cutting it. It just turned out so pretty. I probably would have been a hint happier if I had maybe waited just a little bit longer to do the pour. And a lot of that just has to do with it's just so, oh, that's neat. It's so cool in my soap studio nowadays in the winter that I'm soaping it basically below room temperature, but they are still gelling. Just the nature of my molds and my setup. They still heat up. I would think that if I soaked warm that they would overheat. I obviously tried to avoid that. I think they just turned out great. So pretty. This one is kind of like, I'll show you maybe after I cut it here. I guess it kind of was more on this sample, but it's kind of like stacked, like I poured it in and then it just kind of stacked in from the top. That's cool. I like it. I like it. This is definitely fitting my mood for the start of 2022. I did not do that very well. Just very soft colors, soft fragrances, kind of getting back to basics with some of my unscented soaps, etc. That's just the mood I'm in, and soon I suspect I'll be in the rainbow mood and things are going to get bright and kind of feisty. I love this. That is so pretty. That's adorable. Love it. So, this one has a lot of pink in it. This was towards the end, so it's kind of a little smushed up on the side, a little extra swirly. I think it turned out great. I'm pleased. I think it fits the scent really well. And so let's cut one of these side loaves. Always have a little different design when it's a swirly soap, the sides, because it flows in and kind of goes up the sides. So the side loaves are always going to be different. I guess I didn't cut that yet. The side loaves will be just a little bit different than the middle loaves. And I get 5 loaves total. I already have one cut in another. It's over on its tray doing its thing. I always try to cut one early so that I could take some pictures. So that's interesting. So this is what I'm talking about, kind of the side is what it does there when it goes into the mold. It's not a super consistent, you know, equally swirled soap, but I still like that. I like that look. I like the carefree in the pot swirl. Nothing too crazy. My motto for the last several years is perfection is overrated. Our life is too short to worry about perfect swirls in soap. Fun when it happens, not necessary at all. So here we have, well, I was gonna find a prettier bar than that, but it's still pretty. So here we have the, I don't know what I'm gonna call it, so maybe you'll see it on a title by the time it goes up, but I think it turned out really nice. and I love it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.